Hi everyone, it's Anna. Have you ever wondered what coaching is all about? If so, I have a special treat for you. Real-time coaching session from start to finish, where you have a chance to come in and join the conversation between me and one of my clients and get the real feel of what coaching really is and is not, because coaching is not consulting, therapy, mentoring, or teaching. Coaching is all about tapping into and unlocking your own potential, overcoming limiting beliefs, and helping you see better and create sustainable change. Keep in mind, no two coaching sessions are the same. So, this is just one of the examples of the 100 sessions that I have had with my clients. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly at annabarnhill.com. I hope you enjoy this recording, and I will talk to you soon.
Hi, Jim. How are you doing today?
I'm well, Anna.
That's good. So, what's on top of your mind for today?
Today, I'm struggling with leaving a group, a mastermind group that I'm a part of, and um, that's enough to start. I'm struggling. I'm struggling with a decision that I feel like I've made. I'm not absolutely certain I've made the decision, and in any event, um, I gotta have a I gotta have a difficult conversation, and I'm not really good at these.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Also, something sensing a lot of emotion in it for you. Is that true?
yeah, it's a group. It's a group of people that I feel loyal to. I really enjoy the camaraderie. I've been debating for a number of months my ongoing membership in the group.
Mm-hmm.
And this past Monday, when we had one of our bi-monthly meetings, I just realized there was a part of me that was not. I'm just not there anymore. I'm not. How to say this? Um, when I'm part of a mastermind group, like there's another group that I belong to. We've changed members. We've been together for 22 years. We've some people have retired. We've taken on new people and so on. Every time we meet, I leave feeling like I contributed and I gained. Like there's a back and forth. And in this particular group, I've come to realize that I'm putting a lot in, but I'm not walking away with anything. I'm not. There's no net benefit to me other than they're really nice people,
Mm-hmm.
and um, yeah. Anyway, and I'm just torn. I've been a part of I've been a part of groups over my 20 some years as an independent business person. I've been part of groups on and off. Um, most with fellow consultants, facilitators. I was part of a training um, group for a long time where we were constantly sharing ideas and learning about accelerated learning and so on. Every time every time I've left a group in the past, it was tied to the group was just kind of like dissolving, or a key contributor, like had decided they were leaving, and everybody said, well, Susan brought us together and she's retiring, and so we're going to take this opportunity to just say, okay, we're done. And so like we finished, if that makes sense. We declared completion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I'm not feeling an opening here. I feel like if I leave, the group will collapse, and I feel horrible about that. I'm not the one who created it, but I'm just not getting value anymore. And I'm not even sure how I feel. But yeah, I have a lot of emotion around it. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of mixed. It's like I'm not getting value, but I'm loyal to the group. And you're saying I'm concerned that the group will just fall apart without me.
Yeah, so sadness, I think, is another emotion. When I hear you say that back to me. You know, I was having a conversation with a friend the other day. We are both in similar positions in our families, in that we're kind of like the funeral people. Um, so many families I know are like this. Like when someone dies in our family, I'm the oldest of a whole bunch of siblings, and she's not the oldest, but she's a nurse. So, you know, somebody dies, somebody gets ill. There's always somebody who steps in and says, "Okay, here's what we're going to do," because I don't get consumed by like denial of death or something. It happened. Okay, we're going to move forward. We're going to do the things we need to do. Let's get organized around it. So this conversation we were having was about how, you know, like when things like that happen, I know how to show up and just kind of like get everybody moving in the right direction. This is life. It happens. I'm not as good at initiating it. like, so like I'm good at managing the funeral. I'm not really good at the hospice part. Like I feel like if I leave this group, I'm going to be declaring you're going into hospice.
Okay.
And I'm not good at that part. So that's kind of the metaphor I've been playing with the last couple days.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it does. So for you right now, when you think about this hospice versus funeral, a lot of emotion stirring, what specifically would be helpful for us to look into that you think would make sense?
I feel a little lost around how to have this conversation, how to leave the group.
Okay.
Because
So
it's not something I've done before.
can I check in with you? Are you saying it's not about am I leaving the group or not? It's about I already know that I am leaving the group. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think when I came into Zoom, what I was thinking was I want to explore if I need to leave the group. And as I've been talking to you, I'm realizing that's no, I need to. I'm stuck around how to. I don't know how to have that conversation.
Mm.
Or I'm dreading it. Maybe because I'm not sure how.
Okay. So when you think about how to have the conversation, what would be helpful to explore around that hesitation that comes up for you?
Good question. I want to try and figure out how to say it in a way that I feel like I'm respecting the other people in the group.
Mm.
yeah, it. I need to have the conversation. I need to have the conversation. I want to figure out how to have the conversation.
So if you think about the conversation, what would be your ideal outcome out of it?
Ideal outcome of that conversation is that I could walk away feeling like I'd left everybody whole.
Hmm.
I would want the other members to feel respected, and kind of going back to something I said earlier, I want to walk away feeling like just complete.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got to tell you, on Monday I was just like, oh, I'm so disgusted. Like I had 10 other things I could have done during this hour, and I'm realizing that I'm sitting here in resentment and disgust, and part of that is at myself for continuing to show up. So I want to feel good about my part and feel like I've walked away with everybody feeling good.
So you mentioned sitting in that feeling of disgust, and there was one more.
What did I just say? Resentment.
Resentment. So those feelings for you, like what are they trying to communicate to you about something that is important for you in your life?
Oh. All right. So the resentment I think I've created kind of a space where I feel like I've got myself trapped in this group. We did some recontracting at the beginning of the year, and a couple of players had changed, and I was feeling hopeful, so I said yes, and I feel a little resentful of myself for having said yes. I probably could have exited a little more gracefully at the beginning of the year. I was feeling very hopeful about this new guy who was joining. And probably the disgust is just that I'm what is it? Oh, I know what it is. So even though I don't always feel like I'm getting out as much as I'm putting in, and it's not about the math, but it's like how I'm using my time. One thing that I do when I belong to a group, I tend to be loyal to the group. So I if we agree on meeting times, I put them on my calendar.
Mm.
And maybe this is what led me to realize that I need to leave. Like the last couple meetings, we've had people not show up, and they're sending messages at the last minute, things like, oh yeah, this doctor's appointment, happened, or, I have a client thing, I have a workshop that day. And I'm like, well, did you not know this until an hour ago? And B, didn't you have this date on your calendar? So like when they asked about scheduling the workshop, that you could say, oh no, I have a prior commitment? I was just like, I was disgusted. I was just because I have a different standard. My standard is, if I commit, I commit. And if I can't, I let somebody know. I don't send a text message an hour beforehand as though I was totally unaware.
Yeah.
I just, so that's the disgust part. And then the resentment is, oh, why didn't you do this earlier when it would have been easier? That was a really good question. Yeah. But again, I like these people. I don't want to say what I just said to you. I don't really, I'm not sure it would serve any purpose for me to say, you're not a victim. You're running your own business. You're a grown adult. You can manage your own calendar. You're not a victim to your calendar. I'm going to think that, but I'm choosing not to say it out loud.
And I wonder, are you discussed it when you describe it? Are you discussed it at them or their behavior? Because you say, I like them.
Yeah. It's definitely the latter. Thank you for that distinction. Yeah. There's, I do tend to get triggered by people who live in victim mode. I've got a couple of siblings like that. Like everything bad that happens to them in life is someone else's fault. They never have a part in it. And, I don't manage my siblings' lives. They're all adults. They're in their 40s. They're in their 50s now, right? So, so I've never just really dealt well with that kind of energy. So, yeah. What was the question again?
I was noticing a lot of energy that almost felt like frustration. That's why I wanted to check in with you. It seemed like there was a lot of emotion. So
yeah, frustration's good too. Yeah, there's kind of a disgust about the behavior and then some frustration. Yeah.
So for you right now, there's emotions of disgust, and resentment. How do you think they might be standing in the way of you knowing how to have a conversation?
Well, I just kind of vomited on you, and I said, "Oh, I don't want to say this to them." That's definitely one way they're getting in the way. I sense that well, until I said it to you, I think I might have been afraid that that's how I was actually going to show up. It's like, I'm leaving this group. There's a different way I want to say it. Now that I put it out there, that is part of how I feel. It's just one factor, though. The real issue The real issue is that with other changes in the group over the last 2 years, I've become the senior in the group.
Mm.
I'm not necessarily the oldest, but the senior in terms of experience and um, success at running my own business. I am a freelancer, um, so yeah. I mean, the real reason I need to leave, and I need to say this in a different way. The real reason I need to leave is because what's happening more and more often is that anything that anybody brings into the group, I seem to be the one that has the ideas. If you've ever been part of a mastermind group, mastermind groups are like somebody brings a challenge and then we all just put into it, right? The mastermind, and it feels like I'm always the one who's got like the idea, or I'm putting in 50% of what's there, and other members of the group were also taking notes. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, isn't there supposed to be shared brilliance here?
Mm.
Um, and then I'm walking away at the end of each meeting thinking, well, that was great for everybody else, but I'm like, I have no notes. I'm not taking away anything.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe that's the way I need to say it. Like if I say this to you, that basically I'm not feeling like I'm getting any net benefit from being part of the group. We're having great conversations. I'm consistently not taking away anything new that's helping me in my business. So I've decided I'm gonna resign.
Mm-hmm. And now that you're saying it, how does it feel in your body? Does it feel true to you?
It felt okay. I kind of felt that in my hips.
Mm.
Yeah. Like that was coming from my roots.
Mm.
What are you seeing?
When you said it coming from my roots, and it brought me back to one of our calls about the pumpkin vine and being grounded, and how you were telling me I want to focus on the growing edge and gonna start letting go of what's not serving me. So that's kind of what
Oh
came
my
up.
gosh. Hey, that's a really good call. Yeah, because I still, it's up on the corner of my screen there. Yeah. Um, yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that helps me visualize it now. So, um, I'm growing over here. This is definitely, this group is farther back on the vine, and it's like the
Mm-hmm.
leaf has withered. It's, I'm not, yeah. Thank you. I can even use my own metaphor in this conversation. My growing edge has moved elsewhere versus 5 years ago. Yeah, that's the way to say it. That's the way to say it. Because then I feel like I can own it.
Mm-hmm.
It's about me. yeah, this is what I was concerned about, that I was going to show up and go, ah, you people who are very nice people. This is, now I feel like I can take it back. Okay. This is me. This is what's going on with me. I'm making the call to move on. Mm. Yeah, that feels right. I have to capture this while I'm thinking of it right now. Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else that you think is missing for you right now when you think about having that successful conversation?
Well, I want to be able to capture the same energy in like 10 days when we're having our next conversation. I feel pretty grounded in it right now, in this moment.
So when you say capture the energy, what would that look like for you? If maybe you can bring in your values into the mix and see if anything there can support you.
Okay, so one thing I could definitely do is be standing when I have that meeting, because I can feel into this groundedness. The other is I'll have my pumpkin vine in front of me. I wrote down the language that I just used. That so here's my metaphor, and I feel that my growing edge has moved elsewhere. I'm in a different place. I'm focused on a different place than I was 5 years ago, and the agenda of this group is very clearly, it's here. I get that. That's fine. I'm not there anymore, so I'm making the call to move on. I need to take my energy and put it into some new areas. My growing edges out here.
Okay. And you mentioned you want other people on the other side to feel respected, and you want to leave everyone whole.
Yeah.
How do you feel you accomplishing that intention?
Well, as I listen to myself, I have shifted from you to me. I mean, not you, Anna. I mean, from second person to me. Yeah, I feel like I can declare what's true for me. I can say this out loud. This is where I am, and none of that stuff that I was talking about earlier, I don't have to say any of it, because it's not really why I'm moving on. I think all of those other things I talked about earlier, they feel like the things that were getting under my skin, because I'm really feeling the sense that I need to move on. So it was maybe evidence for, but not the reason. The real reason, yeah, I'm pretty solid in this now. The real reason is it's not the best use of my time anymore, because I am working on something else. Yeah, this feels good.
Good. You mentioned at the beginning that you yourself would like to be complete or feel complete as the outcome. Do you feel like you complete, or do you feel there's something else that maybe we didn't address that would give you that feeling?
It's a good question. I don't. it's springtime right now in my part of the world, and there's probably no time that spring is when I am most in touch with the power of my metaphor. You know, it's been a very long, cold spring. We finally got seeds in the ground this past weekend, which should have gone on in March, but the ground was frozen. So, you know, there was a break in the weather. We got seeds in the ground, but then we're also out there raking up dead leaves and the debris and the, you know, all the stuff that goes into compost, which is going to be next year's garden. At this time of year, I just always feel like I'm so in touch with the cycle, right? New life, death, composting, you know, everything kind of goes around. I mean, my pumpkin vine metaphor is really built around that. And I have gotten value from this group in the past. So there's definitely stuff there I can take, and it's, you know, it's worked into the soil. I'm composting. I've composted it. It's good. It's good, and it's time for me to move on. So there's definitely an and there. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. So there's nothing else for me now.
Okay. And for you, just looking forward, do you see any new growing edges that maybe before, you know, were covered by dirt and other dead leaves and debris that now maybe you start seeing?
Yeah. And those have been there. Those have been there. That is, I'm realizing part of the frustration I'm feeling, that my energy is being drawn out there, and out of loyalty, I'm still showing up for this group, and I really want that energy out here, out there.
Yeah.
On my growing edges, wherever they are. Yeah.
Good. Well, it seems like right now your energy shifted a lot too. Feels lighter.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I feel lighter, and yet I also feel more grounded. Like it's like from the hips down I'm lighter. No, from the hips down I'm heavier, and the upper part of my body is like lighter. That's really what it feels like, which is very interesting. Kind of this.
It's like a tree almost.
Yes,
Very
just like a
grounded,
tree. Oh
but you have the
yeah.
branches that are moving.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Another great spring metaphor.
Yeah.
I'm blossoming.
Well, is there anything else for you today that would make it complete for you?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.